characters, incidents, names, and situations used in this story are fictitious. The resemblance to any person living or dead is purely coincidental. The following video contains some horror elements and suitable for a mature audience, 16 plus. This channel and video is not for kids. Hello friends, I am Arian, and welcome to our channel, Midnight Horror Stories, where you get to hear true and scary ghost stories. But before starting the story, all the friends who have come to this channel for the first time, please subscribe to the channel, and if you like the story, then definitely introduce yourself in the comment section. Then let's do not take much time and start our story quickly. The story I am telling you today is a very horrific incident of a family in which the whole family was destroyed due to the mistake of some people. This incident did not happen today, but 20 to 25 years ago. And the one person who shared this story with me, you saw this happening in front of your eyes. However, he was young at that time, and this whole incident happened within his family. See, being poor is one of the biggest curses of girls from poor families. I will not talk about today's time, but 20 to 25 years ago, when there was a lot of backward area, at that time girls did not have so much freedom. The family used to decide about his life. Where are they going to get married? Which house is she going to go to? What she was going to study? All this was decided by her parents. This story is also such as the girl who could not do anything on her own free will, and what her parents did for her caused a lot of trouble for her. So let's know the whole story of that girl today, and I hope that this does not happen to anyone else from now on, and whoever has come to the channel for the first time, they listen to the story completely, because if you leave the story in the middle, then the emotion that I am going to prepare for you inside the story and the truth that I am going to show you is complete. It will be spoiled. So definitely listen to the whole story. Let's get started now. This story is of Kamini. Kamini was a girl from a poor family. She was not so beautiful to look at, and neither did her parents have much dowry to marry her. There were 3 younger brothers in the house who were studying. Kamini, 16, used to work in the fields of people in the village to help them run their family's house. Kamini also wanted to study, but family responsibilities prevented her. Kamini used to do all the work in her house and also work outside. But despite this, Kamini had no respect in Kamini's house. Poor in the house, the girl's respect is less than that. And if the father drinks alcohol every day, then he will not be respected in the same way. The same was happening with Kamini. Kamini had come of age, and at this age, she started dreaming of her life partner. He had high hopes for his life partner, that he would respect her a lot. Even if he has less money, he will have his own little world. Kamini was thinking all this in her mind, but she did not know what was going to happen to her next. One day when Kamini was working on the farm, her brother came running. He came there and told her to go home early. The boys have come to see him. Kamini was very happy to hear this, and she reached home after taking leave. When she came home quickly wearing a sari, she saw a middle-aged couple in expensive clothes sitting there. Seeing Kamini, the woman frowned. Seeing this, Kamini felt bad, but then she touched the feet of both of them while not saying anything. Meanwhile, the man said to Kamini's father, "So he has told you everything. Tell me, is it approved?" Hearing this, his father's eyes lit up, and he did not. Kamini's opinion is yes. Then the man gave an omen in Kamini's hand and said, "Okay, then we will get married in a couple of days, and this marriage has to be absolutely simple, and in return you will also get a lot." After saying this, they left. At the same time, Kamini could not understand why he was talking like this. When she asked her parents about this, they only told that in a few days she is getting married to Naveen, the son of the landlord of another village, and more than that, they did not tell anything, nor did Kamini ask, because in the village countryside, in the case of marriage, the boy and girl are not allowed to speak. Well, Kamini was quite happy because her wedding was happening in such a big house. She had thought that she would serve her husband and mother-in-law a lot, and try her best to make her place in their heart. Here it did not come to Kamini's mind that the people of such a big house, who will not lack relationships for their boys, why are they getting their son's relationship with Kamini? Well, in a few days, all the preparations for Kamini's wedding were done, and the procession came at the scheduled time. But the surprising thing here was that only the boy's mother Shashi and father Kishan Jeet had come in the procession, and they had brought a wooden doll with them. In that marriage too, only Kamini's parents were there, and apart from them, none of Kamini's brothers were there. Kamini was very surprised about this and asked her mother about this. She told that this is the tradition of the boy's house, so she should not think much about it and get married. Kamini could not say much, and she sat in the pavilion. During this, Kamini saw that the priest who was getting her married was very scared, but still, somehow, he got this marriage done. After getting married, there was a lot of relief on the faces of the boy's parents, and they even gave a lot of money to Kamini's father. Kamini could not understand why he was giving money to her parents, but then he thought that these people are very good people, and they know the situation in his house. That's why he is helping his poor parents. After getting married, Kamini's father-in-law also gave a lot of money to the pandit. He began to leave happily, but when his eyes fell on Kamini, there was a sense of helplessness on his face. He patted Kamini's head and said, "Forgive me, daughter." After saying this, he left from there. Kamini could not understand why he was speaking like this, but at the same time, his mother took him to the room. The lines of tension could be clearly seen on his mother's face. Kamini thought she was going to her in-laws' house. Maybe that's why he's sad, but the real reason was something else. Well, Kamini was groomed and she was married to her mother-in-law, father-in-law, and she moved towards her in-laws' house with that doll. On coming to his house, all the rituals were done by him in the same way as in a normal marriage. And then he was left in the room. Kamini was now waiting for her husband to come to the room. She hadn't seen her husband yet, so she eagerly looked at the door. After some time, hearing the sound of the door opening, Kamini lowered her eyes in shame. Then at the same time, she looked in front of her again from her mother-in-law's voice. Her mother-in-law was standing with a glass of milk in her hands, and she said to Kamini, She will be waiting for her husband, but it will take some time for him to come. That's why you'll have to wait a little longer. I've got milk for you. You drink it." Kamini did not feel like drinking milk at all, but she had just got married. Therefore, it would not be right to refuse anything from now on. Thinking of this, Kamini drank that milk. Seeing Kamini drinking milk, a smile floated on her mother-in-law Shashi's face, and she sat there beside her. She sat there and started telling Kamini the rules and regulations of her house. She told him what she had to do. She told him that her husband is out, so she will stay with them. But don't worry, all his needs will be fulfilled well. Kamini was listening to these things when suddenly her eyes started getting heavy. Sleep was taking him over his lap. Then Shashi says that you are feeling sleepy due to the fatigue of marriage. Do one thing, you go to sleep. Your husband will come when he comes. Kamini did not want to sleep, but sleep had taken over her so much that she was finding it very difficult to keep her eyes open, so she slept. The next morning when he opened his eyes, he found that his whole body was in pain. When Kamini looked around in amazement and wanted to see her husband, there was no one there. Seeing this, she was about to get up from her bed when her eyes fell on the wooden doll on her bed. Seeing this, Kamini was very nervous because she remembered very well that the doll was not there before going to sleep at night. How did it come here all of a sudden? Kamini then thought that her husband must have brought her to the room in the night. Thinking of all this, Kamini fixed her clothes. She waited for someone to come and tell her where to take a bath. During this time, when her eyes went to the latch of the door of the room, she was surprised because the latch of the room was attached and there was no one else in the room except her, and Kamini remembered very well that she had not latched. Kamini was very surprised to see this. She went closer and looked at the door. She was looking at the latch when she suddenly knocked on the door and got a little nervous. Then the next moment he opened the door, normalizing himself, and he found that her mother-in-law was standing in front of her. Kamini touched his feet without wasting much time. He blessed her and then said that, "Let's come and wash your bath." Hearing this, Kamini started following them. During this time, she said, "By the way, mother, where is he?" Hearing this, Rupati said, "He has gone to the city for urgent work, but he will come by night. You take a bath, get ready, eat and drink, and perform the further rituals." Kamini nodded yes, and after that she washed her bath and got ready. Kamini now started doing further rituals. But here Kamini was very surprised that the wooden doll was seated with him in the ritual. Kamini found it very strange. But at the moment she did not dare to speak anything in front of everyone, and she started doing all the rituals silently. In the evening, when all the rituals were over and Kamini came and sat in her room, she had thought that when her husband came in the night, she would talk to him about it. After dinner, Shashi came into the room with a glass of milk and asked her to drink milk. Kamini drank the milk. After this, Shashi said to him, "What is the matter? You are a bit upset. You look like it." Hearing this, Kamini could not stop herself and asked clearly why that wooden doll sits with her in every ritual. Then Shashi said, "Look, now listen carefully. The tradition of this house is that at the time of marriage, the wooden doll is dressed in the groom's clothes and is married to the girl, and in every ritual, that wooden doll is made to sit in place of the groom. This leads to a good life ahead for the bride and groom. Even this wooden doll will sleep with you and your husband at night." Kamini found it quite strange, but he felt that this might be the custom among the older people. That's why he didn't say much. After this, Kamini started falling asleep while talking for a while and fell asleep. The next morning it happened to him again and again. He saw that the door of his room was locked from inside. Kamini was very surprised that when there is only Kamini in this room, when did she put the door of the room from inside? When Kamini talked to her mother-in-law about this, she said that she must have put it and she would not remember because of sleep. Woman feeling sexual urge. He remembered very well that he did not open the door. So to know who locks the door at night, he decided to stay awake tonight. Kamini was lying in her room when her mother-in-law came into the room with a glass of milk and gave her milk to drink. Kamini was a little upset with what was happening with Kamini, so she had thought that she would not even drink the milk brought by her mother-in-law, because this used to happen to her every time she drank milk. While it never happened to her before marriage that sleep ever took over her, so much that he is not conscious of anything. Kamini tells Shashi that her stomach is very full. That's why she can't drink this milk. Her mother-in-law kept talking to her, but she did not drink milk. Seeing this, Shashi left from there, and as soon as he left, Kamini ran and locked the door. Kamini now wanted to stay up all night and find out. She came and lay down on her bed. At the same time, the same thing was coming to her mind again and again, that even after so many days of marriage, she has not yet seen her husband, and the people of this house do not know what they are hiding from her. That's what Kamini was thinking about. Suddenly, his eyes fell on the wooden doll that was kept on his bed. Seeing that doll, Kamini was very angry because this doll was with her instead of her husband since marriage. So he picked up the doll and threw it out of his room. Kamini was feeling very good after taking that doll out of the room, and she lay down again. He must have been lying on the bed for a while when suddenly someone knocked on the door of his room. Hearing that voice, a smile came on Kamini's face. She thought her husband had come. He ran and opened the door. As soon as Kamini opened the door, she was surprised to find no one in front of her. He came out of the room and saw that there was nothing but silence. Seeing this, she started coming back to her room. She had just reached the threshold of her room when suddenly some invisible force grabbed her hair and dragged her inside the room and put the door. Kamini was very nervous about all this, and when she looked around, she found that there was no one there. But his hair was still hurting. Therefore, he can't be there. Kamini was looking around nervously. Suddenly, she got a loud slap and fell to one side. Kamini was more nervous than before and started screaming in fear. But no one came to help her, and during this time, Kamini got a strong slap again. And with this, the voice of a 20 to 22-year-old boy came to her. "Shut up! How dare you throw me out of the room? This is my home, understand? And I will have to live in my house according to me." Kamini could not understand where this voice was coming from, but at the same time, his eyes fell on the wooden doll that was now standing on the bed in his room. Kamini was looking at the doll with surprise when suddenly the wooden doll came very close to Kamini's face with lightning speed, and with this, Kamini fainted. When Kamini woke up in the morning, she was lying on her bed. He didn't know if what had happened last night was a dream or reality. Thinking about this, she came out of the room and talked to her mother-in-law about it. Then her mother-in-law said that we did not hear any sound in the night. "Maybe you must have dreamed. That's why you were in bed and not on the floor." Hearing this, Kamini also felt that she must have dreamed, so she tried to forget about it too. But he could not understand that if it was a dream, then why his hair was hurting like someone had pulled his hair with great force. Kamini was working thinking about this when in the afternoon when she came to ask her mother-in-law for tea and breakfast. Seeing her mother-in-law taking her name from the room, she stopped there and tried to listen to him. Her mother-in-law, "I don't think we can hide everything from this girl for long. She doesn't even drink milk anymore." Then her father-in-law said that when she has to know, then she will be seen, and if she is throwing tantrums and drinking milk, then mix it in her food, and even if she comes to know, that even then she cannot do anything, because her parents have taken a lot of money for this, and if she does not listen to us, then we will kill all her family members and bury them somewhere. Hearing all this, Kamini got very nervous and left from there, because if her mother-in-law, it turned out that he had listened to them, so he didn't care. Kamini could not understand what truth her in-laws were talking about and what they were talking about mixing in her milk and food. Kamini had understood that something happened to her in her sleep, and the same thing was hidden from her, but she did not understand it, and to find out this, Kamini thought of something. Kamini thought that she would show everyone that she had drunk the milk given by them and that she had fallen asleep. At night, when her mother-in-law, when she gave her milk, she kept the milk and said that she would drink it in a while. Her mother-in-law then left. After some time, as soon as they left, Kamini took the glass of milk and took it and threw it in the kitchen. After this, Kamini came to the room and lay down and waited for what happens next. It was very dark in that room at this time because Kamini had switched off the light of the room so that everyone would think that she was sleeping. A few minutes later, he heard the door open. Kamini was alerted after hearing that voice. Moments later, she heard her mother-in-law's voice. "Son, you don't get angry. This girl won't bother you anymore. You're happy now, aren't you?" Then he heard the voice of the same girl. "Yes, that's fine. But you haven't found a pretty girl? I don't let such girls come to me more than once or twice." Then again his mother-in-law said, "Son, no one was ready to give his girl and his parents agreed to it. But you just had to get married and it happened. Now you can go comfortably." Then the boy said, "I have no intention of leaving now, but you fulfilled my wish I am very happy about it, but I'm not going to leave the one who brought me to this state before I leave." Kamini couldn't understand what they were all talking about, but she had understood that this man was her husband. But why didn't her husband want to come in front of her? It was a big question for him. Kamini wanted to open her eyes and see, but then he thought that he should not know that he had come to know about it. So she lay like this, and then after a while she started feeling weak, after which she fainted. Done. The next day she resumed her household chores and asked her mother-in-law where her husband was. Now before her mother-in-law could say anything, a servant came from outside and said that the small master has come. Hearing this, Shashi told him to bring them well, and after this, she came out of there without answering Kamini's talk. When Kamini followed him into the courtyard, she saw a 25 to 26-year-old boy coming inside the house holding a bag in his hand. Kamini couldn't understand who it was, so he asked a servant about it. When asked, he told that he is the only son of the owner and mistress. Hearing this, Kamini looked at the man again. If that person is the only son of her mother-in-law, then it means that Kamini is her husband. Today, Kamini saw her husband for the first time. He was a tall man of good stature. Kamini was very happy to see him. He didn't talk to Kamini, but Kamini felt that maybe he was shy to talk to Kamini in front of everyone. Kamini now waited for nightfall. When her husband came into her room and she asked him a lot, they could talk. Meanwhile, in the evening, Kamini came to her father-in-law's room to talk about food. All three of them were inside the room at the time. When Kamini reached the door of the room, she heard the voice of Shashi's son. "How can you guys do all this? He's human too, isn't he? Weren't you ashamed to bargain with him like that?" Hearing this, his father said, "What shame is there in this? Whatever we have done is for our son's happiness, and we have also given money to Kamini's family for this." Hearing this, the man said angrily, "You have done wrong, and it's not going to support you. I'll tell that girl everything. If you are such a good parent, why didn't you give your life for your child? The truth is that you want to get rid of your child. Otherwise, you also knew that if one of you went with him, this problem could be solved forever." After this, his son came out of the room without saying anything. Seeing Kamini standing near the door outside, the man stopped there and said, "Kamini, I want to talk to you about something. This is a marriage before he can say anything further." A man came running there and said that the big owner was a wrestler hero. He did not die. Hearing this, Kamini's father-in-law came out in panic and left with the man. During this time, his son was also going with him. Kamini had a lot of questions in her mind which only she could answer. So now she waited for them all to come back home. Around night, everyone came back and went back to their rooms after eating and drinking. But the surprising thing here was that the person whom Kamini thought was her husband did not come to her room and did not come to another room. I was on hold. After some time, her mother-in-law came into the room with a glass of milk. When Kamini asked her about this, Her mother-in-law told that the boy is not her husband, but brother-in-law Ramesh. Kamini was shocked to hear this because if this is not her husband, then why did that servant say that he is the only son of her in-laws? And who is her husband and where? When Kamini asked her mother-in-law about this, as usual, she made an excuse and gave milk to Kamini and left. Kamini was very upset. She wanted to know the truth in this house. The only person in the world can tell him the truth is Ramesh. Kamini had thought that she would ask Ramesh about this, but it was already late at night, so she tried to sleep. That night she did not drink milk and started sleeping like this. Late at night he realized that someone was holding his wrist, but because it was too dark, he could not understand who he was. As soon as Kamini turned on the light of the room, she saw that there was no one there. He remembered very well that he had not been hurt, so she looked here and there nervously. But then she heard her husband's voice. "You didn't drink milk." Hearing this, Kamini got more nervous than before and started looking around. But there was no one there. Now Kamini understood that living here is no longer free from danger. So she gathered all her strength and opened the door of the room and ran outside. During this, Kamini was also screaming. Hearing her voice, her father-in-law and brother-in-law Sawant came out of their respective rooms and asked her what happened. Why is she running away screaming like this? Then Kamini nervously told him everything. Hearing all this, his mother-in-law said that, "You must have had a dream." But then Ramesh said, "How much lie you will tell? Why don't you tell him the truth, Kamini? I tell you everything." In fact, Kamini's father-in-law was a landlord. He had two sons. The elder son, Ramesh, was studying abroad, and the younger son, Naveen, whose age was around 20 to 21, was not so good in studies, so he was staying in the village with his parents and watching everything here. Because Naveen's father Kaushal was a big landlord, he was very proud of this, and he became very rude for this reason, that he used to insult anyone and hold the hand of any girl on the way. Although he was beaten a lot because of this, he was saved from a big punishment because of his father. His father also did not say anything to Naveen in the pride of being a landlord. For this reason, Naveen became more unruly, and for this reason, one day there was a terrible scandal. One day Naveen was playing cards with some of his friends in his farm. Meanwhile, his friend noticed a 15 to 16-year-old girl who was taking food to the field. Filled at that time, it was late afternoon, so there wasn't much in the surrounding field. And seeing that girl, Naveen's friend showed Naveen to that girl. Naveen, who would hold any girl's hand, he didn't want to miss the chance. So he left his cards and blocked the girl's path. He started misbehaving with that girl. Seeing this, the girl got very angry and slapped him. Naveen got very angry with all this, and he grabbed the girl. Meanwhile, his friend said to him, "Hey Naveen bhai, what are you doing? It's that the wrestler is Veer's girl. If he sees that you have misbehaved with his girl, he will break all your bones." Hearing this, Naveen said, "Hey, you will do such a condition to this girl that her father will not be able to tell anyone. You guys join me in this." Two of them agreed to this, but one said, "Hey, Naveen is the landlord's boy, but our family members are ordinary farmers. It will be saved by scandal, but we will be trapped." Hearing this, they all got very nervous, and they also refused to support Naveen. He was very angry to see his friends retreat, but he still did not leave the girl and forcibly took the girl with him to the fields. Naveen held the girl's mouth, because of which the girl could not scream. But in the meantime, a man from the village saw Naveen doing this, and he went and told the girl's father. The girl's wrestler father started running towards that side with a sickle in his hand, and now the news spread like fire in the whole village that the landlord's boy has picked up the girl of wrestler Veer. Landlords from all of these. He was very nervous because he knew that the wrestler would break his son's bones. Here he was not worried about that girl, but he was worried about his son. He tried very hard to convince Veer, but there was blood on his head today. If Naveen's father had stopped him in time, then the problem would not have come here today. When Veer came there, he saw his daughter in this condition. He took her from there to get her treatment, and now the landlord started telling everyone that Naveen was not in the village at the time of this incident. But here his luck turned out to be bad, and the girl survived. When he told everyone about Naveen's handiwork, all the people got very angry, and everyone now started telling the landlord to hand over Naveen to them. They could not let their children die like this. Therefore, they refused to reveal Naveen's address in the Pari Panchayat. Then Veer said, "Your boy did all this to my daughter for no reason. Now my daughter's life has been ruined because of this. But despite this, you are trying to save your son. You are the father, and this is why you have forgotten all the good and bad. So now I will fulfill my duty as a father, and I will show you how you feel when you see your child in pieces." Hearing all this, Kaushal got very nervous and said, "Hey, look, all this will do little good to your daughter, so I have thought of something. I will get Naveen's marriage to your daughter. This will make his life successful. Tell me how about it?" Hearing this, all the people in the village advised her that this would improve her daughter's life, so he should say yes to it. But he said, "Okay, I'll do that. But Sarpanch G, tomorrow his son did the same with both your daughters, so that means you will also get both your daughters married to him." Hearing this, there was complete silence. Then the wrestler said again, "You people are immortal who will give his daughters the pain of a lifetime by marrying the same man. But I am not like that. I will cut his boy. Then you guys have to do what you have to do with me." Kaushal was very nervous after hearing all this, and he asked the wrestler to explain to everyone. But the wrestler did not listen to anyone. Due to all this, Kaushal was very nervous. To Naveen, he asked them to stay hidden for a few more days. He also hid for a few days. But soon he got bored with all this and started hanging out. He thought he was a landlord's boy, so what would anyone do? But that was his biggest misunderstanding. A few days later, Naveen was drinking alcohol with his friends. Meanwhile, a relative of Veer saw him there and told him. Veer had been waiting for this time for a long time, and now he went out to kill Naveen. But at the same time, his daughter Nisha stopped him and said, "I know you love me very much, Dad, but nothing will happen just by killing him. Give him a punishment that he will suffer for the rest of his life." Hearing this, Veer patted his head and left from there. Naveen got drunk and left for home, but on the way, Veer and his companions caught him. Seeing them, Naveen got very nervous and tried to run away from there. But Veer and his accomplices caught him. Seeing so many people carrying weapons in front of him, Naveen's all arrogance came out and he urinated there. She trembled with fear and asked for forgiveness from him. Figured. But Veer was in no mood to leave her at all. To punish what he had done to his daughter, Veer took off his trousers and cut off his genitals. With all this, Naveen started suffering there. All the wine he had drunk had come down in one fell swoop, and at the same time, Veer's words fell in his ear. "My daughter's life has been ruined because of you. She won't get married in a good house, and you won't get married now. You will suffer like this for the rest of your life." After saying this, he and his companions left from there. Naveen, like he called his father, and he took her to the doctor. After the treatment, her blood had stopped, but now she was ashamed of herself. There was a lot of hope for Naveen's marriage here. But due to Ramesh's marriage, his family was not getting him married. But now she could never get married. Whenever Naveen used to hang out with his friends, all the girls of the village would laugh and laugh at him. When he got angry and misbehaved with them, the girls of the village would say, "Now you cannot do anything wrong with us. You are not a man who is a wrestler, uncle. I did well with you." These things would add salt to Naveen's wounds. He was very bored with all this, and now he stopped going out of the house. At the same time, Kaushal set up a panchayat for this and said that Veer has spoiled his son's life. Whereas if it had worked with the mind at that time, the lives of our children could have been saved. Hearing this, Veer said, "Speak not our children, your children. All of this has just ruined my daughter's life. I can feed my daughter all my life, and now you do the same. If my daughter's marriage, if not, your son will also suffer the same pain for the rest of his life." Everyone supported Veer in this because Naveen had troubled the girls like this before, and instead of convincing him, Kaushal was always engaged in hushing up the matter. And now after all this was completely closed because such boys were afraid that if they did so, the same thing could happen to them. Kaushal was very angry with all this, but what could he do? So now he was thinking of getting Naveen's marriage by lying in some way. But their equals, Naveen was not married in any of the houses, because they could have married their daughter to a rapist, but not to an imam. Every time Naveen heard all this for himself, he used to get very angry, and now he started drinking alcohol for 24 hours. Meanwhile, one day late at night, while descending the ladder under the influence of alcohol, Naveen's foot slipped and he fell down on his head. At that time, everyone was sleeping, so no one saw him at that time, And when everyone saw him in the morning, it was too late. Naveen was dead. Kaushal felt very bad for this, and he felt responsible for Naveen's death. Somehow he got Naveen's last rites done and came home. It wasn't even 24 hours after Naveen's funeral that Kaushal and Shashi were sitting in their room the same night. They heard Naveen's crying voice from outside. Hearing that voice, both husband and wife were very nervous. But then Naveen said again, "Open the door. I need to talk to you about something." Hearing this, Shashi was about to open the door when Kaushal stopped her. Naveen cried for a while and asked them to open the door. But then he got angry. I said, "Open the door. All this happened to me because of you two. So now I'm going to take you both with me." Hearing this, they both got very nervous. But he didn't open the door. The next day, both of them talked to a pandit about this. Then that pandit said that some of your son's wishes were left unfulfilled. That's when the phantom is wandering in the vagina. But there is nothing to worry about. If you get the 13th done well, everything will be fine. And until then, be a little careful. Both of them did the same, but every night Naveen was threatening them, which gave them sleepless nights. It was forbidden. But somehow they spent these days and then did all the rituals. But despite all this, Naveen's soul did not find peace, and he continued to harass them like this. One night, when both of them were in their room, Ramesh's voice came from outside the room. "Mom, where are you?" Hearing the voice, Shashi could not stay and open the door. But at the same time, he saw that Naveen was outside his room. The pupils of his eyes were white. His face was completely white, and he smiled terribly. "Mother," and so on. At the same time, Naveen grabbed Shashi's neck and dragged her out of the room. Seeing Shashi trapped in Naveen's clutches, Kaushal also rushed out of the room to save him. As soon as this happened, Naveen extended his other hand and lifted it 4 to 5 feet up in the air. Now Naveen was looking at his parents with a terrible smile, and he said that if both of you wanted, all that would not have happened to me. And despite all this, both of you could not uproot anything from those people even after being landlords. So now I will take both of you with me. Terrified by all this, Shashi wept. I said, "Son, why are you doing this? If any of your wishes are left unfulfilled, then tell us, we will definitely fulfill it." Hearing this, Naveen remained silent for a while and then said, "I want to get married. You both can get me married or go with me." Hearing this, Kaushal said, "Son, we will get you married, but you just leave us." Hearing this, Naveen left both of them and said that I am giving you 1 month's time. I should get married within 1 month or else I will take you both with me. By saying all this, you are new, it disappeared from there. But now the two husband and wife were faced with the trouble of marrying their son's phantom. The next day, both of them found out about a tantric and told him everything. So then the tantric said that, "Look, it can happen, but there is a lot of danger in it. If this is not his desire, he will become very powerful by this marriage, and he will absorb all the physical energy of his wife and become so powerful that it will be very difficult to stop him. And if that's what he wants, then there's nothing to worry about, is." Hearing this, Kaushal said, "I know my son very well. That is his wish, so tell me how to get her married." Then the tantric said, "Put a wooden plank on the grave of any boy in the crematorium. Then after 24 hours, go late at night and take out the crack and make a wooden doll of it and bring it to me. Also, bring some clothes for your son. I will bind your son's phantom with this doll with the power of my spells. This will cause your son's phantom to come into that doll and come out of that doll from time to time. And get that doll married to a girl during the day according to all the rituals." Kaushal did the same, and after all this, Naveen's phantom was tied to that doll. A few days later, Kaushal spoke to the families of the girls from poor families in the surrounding villages. But no one believed in this phantom marriage. But Kamini was no less than a burden for her parents. That's why his family agreed to it. After hearing this truth, Kamini started crying, because what was her fault in all this? He always had his parents, obeyed all the things. He killed all his desires for them, and what did he get in return? Friends, this is the truth of our society. Parents get their children married on their own free will. But when they are harassed for dowry or anything, then the first thing that happens is that it happens in every house, or if the fight goes on in the husband and wife, or as it is written in their fate, that will happen. But I want to ask you, what if this happens to your daughter and you stand with her and play her in-laws band? nor will your daughter face any further problems and even get the respect she deserves in her in-laws' house. To a large extent, her family members have a hand in getting her respect in the daughter's in-laws' house. It is better to take action at the right time than to be poor. Well, then Kaushal said, "Now you know everything, and you cannot back down from all this. Otherwise, I will get your family members killed." Hearing all this, Kamini angrily said, "Do whatever you want to do with them, but I am not going to carry this relationship. When they don't care about me, I care about them. Why should it be?" Hearing this, Shashi got very nervous and started explaining to Kamini, but Kamini did not agree to listen to anything. Then Ramesh said, "There is no use in explaining it, nor is there any hope of your survival, because if Naveen's desire was to get married, then he would have been free. But whether his intention is something else but he does not understand." They were all talking about this when suddenly Kamini got a sharp shock and she fell to the ground. As soon as this happened, some invisible force dragged him into the room. Engaged. Ramesh and his parents tried hard to stop Kamini, but suddenly, due to a strong wind, the three flew and crashed into the wall behind them, and all three of them fainted there. The invisible force that was new dragged Kamini inside a room and locked the door. Kamini nervously looked in front of her, and then after a while, a horrible boy's face emerged in the air, which was Naveen's. He took his terrible white face to Kamini and said, "After all, you have come to know, if you let all this happen silently, then you will suffer less. But it doesn't matter. I will absorb all my strength and destroy this whole village." Hearing this, Kamini got very nervous and got up from there and tried to run away. But then Naveen pushed her and laid her on the floor, and at the same time, Kamini felt energy pulling from her body, after which she fainted. In the morning, Ramesh and his parents were picked up by servants. Shashi's condition was very bad, so he was taken to the doctor. At the same time, Ramesh asked his father to call the same occultist again, that when the tantric came, Ramesh told him everything. Hearing this, the tantric said, "I had warned these people beforehand, but he said that he intended to get married. But now he has become very powerful because of all this, and it is not possible to stop him." Hearing this, Kaushal said, "There must be a way to do this. Take what you need for it." Hearing this, the tantric thought about it and asked whether the girl he was married to was alive or not. Kamini was alive at that time, but Naveen had kept her imprisoned in a room so that no one could do so. Couldn't help him. It will take 13 days for Naveen to take all his energy. So till now, he had not been able to take all the energy of Kamini, even if he wanted to, because they hadn't been married for so long. When that tantric came to know about this, the tantric said, "Look, everything can be right, but for that energy source of that phantom will have to be eliminated. That is, if we eliminate that girl, then that phantom will become incapacitated, and after that, he will also be free from here. But before leaving, he will definitely take any of you." Hearing this, Ramesh said Kamini was not at fault in all this. Therefore, it would not be right to take his life. So you find another way. But the tantric clearly said that this is the last way, and the girl will have to be eliminated before the completion of 13 days of this marriage. Otherwise, I don't know how many lives will be lost. And of course, killing that girl is possible only during the daytime, because Naveen's phantom will not let it happen after the sun goes down. After saying all this, the tantric left from there, and now Ramesh was looking for another tantric who would make everything right. Kamini. On the other hand, she was out of the room now. She was crying wildly because the phantom would absorb all her energy and kill them all. Kaushal was very nervous after hearing all this, and he told him that everything will be fine after his death. But Ramesh doesn't want you to die. That's why he is looking for a tantric. But I would like you to give your own life for the good of everyone, because time is very short. Hearing all this, Kamini was forced to think because the phantom was not going to leave her anyway. That's why he also obeyed the skill. Decided. At the same time, he ended his life by eating rat killers kept in the house. Kaushal heaved a sigh of relief from all this. When Ramesh came to know about this, he got very angry at his father. He respectfully cremated Kamini because despite being so bad to her, she gave her life for everyone. After all this, Naveen's powers were completely reduced. The time had come for his liberation, but he didn't want to leave alone and took his mother with him. Kaushal to his wife. There was a lot of shock in the death of the deceased. At the same time, Ramesh saw that a lot of people were upset because of his family, and most of all, wrestler Veer's daughter Nisha. So he told them that he wanted to marry her. Ramesh was a very nice boy, so Veer's family agreed to this, and it was decided that when Nisha was of marriageable age, she would be married to Ramesh. After all this, Ramesh went back. Kaushal was now all alone here. One night when he was sleeping, he woke up by hearing a girl's voice. As soon as Kaushal turned on the light, when he saw the front, he was surprised because she was none other than Kamini. Her face was now quite terrible, and she said, "I gave my life to save everyone, but now I am also trapped in the cycle of life and death, and I cannot be free until I see your death. But don't be afraid, I won't kill you. I'll wait for you to die, even if I have to flare up for a long time for it." A few years later, Ramesh and Nisha got married, but Kaushal died a while ago, and he did Kamini before he died. Told this to Ramesh and said Kamini was a good soul. That's when he didn't kill me and waited for me to die, while I was guilty of it. Don't make the mistake I made. And after that, his eyes were closed forever. Friends, there was no fault of Kamini here, but still a lot went wrong with Kamini in her life. Even his death was very wrong. He was forced to give up his life. But still, I would like to praise Kamini that despite being in so much pain and grief, she cared for other people, and there, he gave his life for it. And her life was also meaningful, and that phantom was always liberated from this world forever. And in the end, even when she was wandering, she did not take the life of her father-in-law, but waited for the right time. In fact, such girls are rarely seen. So friends, this was our story today. Do tell us how you liked the story by commenting. And those who have not yet subscribed to the channel must subscribe to the channel. Take care of yourself and your family. I, your friend, will meet you soon with a new story. Thank you.